Whoa ho ho, and we are live. Right, so I had to delay this stream by 1 week because last week, 2 minutes before we went live, Google accounts went down, and it's like I don't want to spend an unknown amount of time waiting for it to come up, because I did actually wait for like 10 minutes and it was still not up, so I decided, okay, forget it, let's delay the whole stream by a week. Got better use of my time than to sit and wait around. Right, so let's just get on to it and play Reunion.
We got trouble!
Jesse McCree. Been a while. You promised you'd write.
Well, Ash. I've been kinda busy.
We're pretty busy ourselves, so it's awful convenient you showing up today.
Yeah. You never been one to shy away from a good tip.
Hey, we worked hard for this score. You best move on now.
All I want is that crate. Everything else is yours.
This crate? Huh. Bob. Well, well. Now you got my attention. What is it?
That's none of your business.
Well, as I see it, now it's very much our business.
Doesn't always have to be this way, Ash.
Apparently, it does.
Looks like Bob got himself some upgrades.
Smoke him out of there! Last chance, McCree! Toss out your weapon!
All right, Ash. Here it comes.
Oh, shoot! What the... McCree?
Sorry about that, Bob. No hard feelings.
McCree? Hey! Untie me, McCree!
Say hi to the gang
about
about that, Bob.
I will not be ignored! I'm gonna rebuild Bob, and I'm gonna have him rip off your other arm!
Hey there, cowboy.
Welcome back, partner.
How long have I been gone?
Far too long.
What happened?
Well, that's a story for another time. But I got a call. They're getting the band back together. They want me. But really, they need you.
Jesse, wait. What are you going to do?
I've got some business to attend to. Say hi to the monkey for me.
Monkey?
Scientist. Whatever.
Hey, so we are back. I am back. Let's start going through the animation. So I just thought that the introduction with the jukebox is genius. It's a great way to present the company name and the title of the short, like Blizzard Entertainment Presents Reunion, written on a CD. It's just very good use of real estate. Like it's a CD, just put the company title and the short title there. Makes perfect sense. I'm just wondering if such places really exist in, say, America. Diners out in a remote locations with little patrons. And if they're depicted in shows and movies, then they should exist, right? But how do they survive? And I just caught something right here just today as I was watching the playthrough. I didn't catch this at all, but here's a reference to StarCraft. You've got Tychus, you've got Sarah Kerrigan, and I'm not too sure who this is. Looks like some kind of Protoss. But yeah, it's cool to see Blizzard referencing their own game. So like in the official cinematic for Overwatch, there is a reference to Hearthstone, and in here we see a reference to StarCraft 2. Should reduce the volume, eh? 30 is pretty nice. Insane work has gone into the pie for sure. Like a pie with this fidelity, and as the fork slices through the pie and then the crumbles is insane. And I just like the way the cup moves when the hand is grabbing onto it. It's not very common that an object is perfectly still when being grabbed unless it really is very heavy. I'm sure that minute hand over there sort of, it will obey animation principle. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it does. So this is going forward. It eases into the animation, so a small move in that one frame and then a big one, and as it ends, oh, there's a rebound. This bounces. Wow, there's a lot of attention to detail in something that is so short. I mean, it's just here for this 1 second, right? And all these details are in. So like humans cannot hold their bodies in position, so you can see that the hand is still moving while maintaining the position, but this also tells a second story. Freezing like this, whoever this person is freezing like this is anticipating action. He knows something is coming, and he knows that this exact thing is gonna happen. This train passing by is gonna happen. So he's probably thinking in his head, oh, this thing's happening, next is what is gonna happen next. It must have been pre-planned. With all this ruckus and commotion, it doesn't even flinch, continues eating the pie. I need to reduce my volume a little bit more. It's pretty loud. Coin toss and coming to a stoppage of action. Really well done. And this also shows that it's not a dream because the coin stopped spinning. And how the hat crumbles as McCree reaches out to reach it. The crumble and the indentation. Whoa. I'm just thinking, how is this crumble done? Are they using physics? Or are they using modifications to the model itself? I think physics here is not too feasible. It doesn't make sense. What makes more sense is that they are manually deforming the hat to match the hand. So this takes a lot of back and forth work. So first the animator will need to grab onto the hat to see where the fingers will go, and then he will have to get the rigger to actually to add controls such that the animator will be able to deform the hat in a certain way. It can be multiple controls, or it can be a single control where it just does all the deformation together. And this process, at least in my experience, is very back and forth. You need a lot of tries, 3 times, 4 times. So it makes good sense that animators are trained to do rigging as well. And that was one of my specialty. I wouldn't say specialty, that because I was just a natural at rigging, that all the rigging work came to me. So I'm very familiar with this process, back and forth, a lot of it. The rest of my colleagues, they know how to rig as well, but it's just that I can do it a lot faster, better. So McCree steps out of the diners, and then this looks like a completely different location. But for people who know the game, this is just right outside the diners. So I dart to the corner. Ding. And then a blink, and then turn to face the main target. Oh, and nice dilation of the pupils. No, this is not dilation, this is constriction. Nice constriction of the pupils. This is the detail that one of the last, was it the last or is it the coming action that I was going to critique? I forgot. I think, let me see if I do encounter the eye pupil thing. I think it's the upcoming one. Okay, but in any case, this is exactly the way humans will turn to look at something. You may be asking, why doesn't he blink at the start? Here, when he does the eye dart to the corner, as I mentioned many times before, blinks should accompany eye darts. The thing is, his eyes are already half closed, so it's not really necessary given the smaller amount of movement. A blink here is not too necessary, and is not too huge of a movement also, as compared to from here to here. This is much bigger. And of course there is also the shock factor, that the first part he's just noticing a silhouette in his peripheral vision, but in this move, after confirming the existence of the peripheral, there is an object there, he is a little bit shocked. He turns quickly to look at the main object, hence the blink is here.
Ash! Ash! We got trouble!
Jesse McCree. Been a while. You promised you'd write.
Well, Ash. I've been kinda busy.
We're pretty busy ourselves.
You hear there's a bit of muffle in McCree's voice, but actually I'm expecting a little bit more muffle, considering the cigar in his mouth.
I've been kinda busy.
We're pretty busy ourselves. So it's awful convenient you showing up today.
Yeah. You never been one to shy away from a good tip.
Hey, we worked hard for this score. You best move on now.
All I want is that crate. Everything else is yours.
So just pay attention to how McCree says this line.
All I want is that crate.
All I want is that crate. So as he says that crate, the eyebrows raise and the eye darts to the crate as he says crate. All this movement adds emphasis to the point that he wants to make. Nothing but that crate. And then he has a nonchalant attitude to other materials.
Everything else is yours.
This crate? Huh. Bob.
Yes, this is the shot that I was going to talk about. So just look at Ash's eye. I mean, it's good that there is the blue reflection in the eye. So apart from the eye rays, the eyes widening, I think something is missing. Either the dilation or the constriction of the pupils. There should have been some changes, because if it can be done from this guy. And he literally is a very inconsequential character, I think. He has this people constriction here. Why doesn't Ash, a notably stronger, more important character here, not have the same treatment? A little bit strange, isn't it? I would have expected the eyes here to have some dilation or constriction of the pupils. Like, I mean, everything else is fine. It's just that this one detail added in would have made this shot look that much better.
Well, now you got my attention. What is it?
That's none of your business.
So, obeying of animation principles. Okay, Ash is pretty still, so when she wants to move forward, she eases into the action, and then the main action, and then there should be an ease out. Yep, this is the easing out, the slowing down, easing out. I'm just wondering about the bad blood between them. Ash has a lot of hostility towards McCree.
Well, as I see it, now it's very much our business.
Doesn't always have to be this way, Ash.
I think it's just really nice to see their noses move when they speak.
Our business.
Doesn't always have to be this way, Ash.
Certainly facial mocap. There's no way someone can hand animate this thing.
Apparently.
Like noses moving when they're speaking, asymmetrical lip movement, and then cheek movement is just very difficult, very tedious to animate it, and it's hard to animate a good looking one.
It does.
And I just so like the way that Ash says it does.
It does.
She does it through gritted teeth. It's such a, I wouldn't want to use the word genius, but let's just use the word genius. A very genius change to the way speech is normally animated. Like if you think you want to say it does, you will not animate it does. You will open the mouth. But rarely will people think of animating speech through gritted teeth. And it just adds on to the projected hostility. I like it. So the eye dart here, Mercury obviously cannot see behind him. It's just adding a little bit of situational awareness, and this is more of like helping to listen through visual. The visual and auditory processing region of the brain is actually very close, and for people who are blind, the cortex used for visual processing, the V1, actually changes to process audio as well. So when you say losing one sense heightens the other, there's some physiological basis behind that. It's like such a throwback to the old TV shows. Especially this one, standoffs in like dusty areas, and then you have some weed tumble by. Then you got this guy in the background. He's checking in with his friends. Notice his eyes. Looking, this is, I think this is behind McCree, right? And then eye darts to the right to look at his partner. Sometimes you just use silence for emphasis for impact. Now he's the one in the foreground checking in with his teammate to his left, because it's just way too long. Nothing has been happening. This scope thing here is not possible in real life. It's just a movie thing. But it tells the story that the scope is trained on McCree. So you see, shows don't 100% reflect reality, but things are done the way they are because they work. They just work for the audience, hence it's always in movies, in shows, it's always done. It's just a good twist to have oil, grease come down instead of sweat. Good work. People sweat when they're nervous, and he is metal, so he's got no sweat glands to produce sweat. So the only way to pull off this comedic effect is to have that one drop, much like how you have the teardrop sweat bead thing from anime. No idea how they can hear that. But in the movies, it'll be something that triggers action. Something dropping creates a huge sound and startles everyone to action. I think the clock tick here is pushing it a little bit, but looking at the clock, I was reminded of something like I wouldn't call it optical illusion. It's something psychological that happens to people. Let's address this shot first, okay? Apart from, because I think this is pushing it too much, so how about having some small delayed explosion come up in this scene here to trigger everyone to action, or maybe to have a longer shot on Bob. That means you zoom out a little bit, then his road sign thing that he's been holding. I'm not sure if it shows here. Yeah, this road sign thing. Like all of a sudden it just drops, you know, creates a huge sound, bang, everyone jumps and moves into action. But coming back to the clock thing here, if you've got a watch that has a second hand, you notice that sometimes when you are looking elsewhere and then you look at your watch, you will find that the second hand appears to linger way longer than usual, like more than a second before it ticks to the next second. Out of 10 times you do it, 9 times you will see that effect. There will just be that one time where it doesn't seem to affect you, and there's just some explanation as to why it happens. Like when you look at the clock, the brain does not know at what point of the second it is. Hence, the brain is remembering the past image or something like that, the past expected image, and then the second hand moves into the new position and appears to move in normal timing because your brain is tuned to the second movement already. But there's a way to counter this. If you can count the seconds in your heart very accurately, you will not be subjected to this effect. You can try. 10 times look away, look at the second hand. 9 times it should hold position longer than usual. But if you start counting the seconds, no matter how many times you look away and back at the second hand, it will always tick according to the second. So I think the explanation that the brain is not aware holds certain water, because when you start counting, you are aware, and then it just follows. So these are some sidetrack psychological brain processing optical illusions, however you call it. That is a kind of like a nice random fact for you. I'm quite okay with this shot here. It's just that the guy shooting at McCree, his rifle is not even aimed at McCree properly, I think. Or maybe it is. It's just that the laser. Look at this. This is crazy. When did he fire? So you can see that the rifle is at this angle. Yeah. My apologies, I have to delete. So it's about coming down to McCree's cloak over here. And then when you see the bullet trail is down here. How on earth does that happen? So like it's because of this shot looks very, very off for me. And then his third shot could go in the correct direction. Okay, so this is correct. The bullet trail, the light is aligned to the direction of the gun. Pretty good. This one is completely off for some reason. Actually, we know the reason, but it's just it doesn't line up to the look. And then this one, boom, it looks good. It looks correct. It's just the second shot that is so out of place that it just makes the shot look not good, in my opinion. A little bit confusing. Holding for exaggeration. This is pretty much a concept that Roadrunner employs a lot. Or in cartoons where you have this one guy running off a cliff and then he hangs in the air before dropping down. It is real, it does happen in real life. It's just that in real life it does not hang as long as the way cartoons depict. So this guy should have been pulled away way earlier. And a lot of action in life happens in arcs, like this sort of arcs. Rarely do you see things moving in a straight line. So in this shot we can very easily see all the arcs in action. So he's going to get pulled already. There's anticipation of the action for us viewers, and then you see his body curves into an arc, and then his motion is arc form. This entire sequence here, I don't really like it. It doesn't make much sense. Okay, this makes sense. Yeah. And then you look into the rifle, train on your target, and then this guy swings by. Why the hell would you want to follow the guy with your rifle? And then you see McCree stepping in the background. Boom. It doesn't make sense. What I would have done is, this is good. Then I will have McCree already visible, and then the scope slowly moves to McCree, and then the body swings into the scope. Just block the vision a little bit, so maybe the scope goes off a little bit. Then he trains the scope back onto McCree. The body swings by again to block the scope. And after the body completes swinging, you see McCree aiming at the scope and then bang fire. This is how I would have done. I think that makes more of a comedic effect than something like following the guy. I just don't agree. Like, no one will turn his rifle to follow a guy swinging in the air, especially when it's a teammate, I think. And then you know you have a threat, you have a target in front of you on the ground. The reload here, there is actually no need to tilt the revolver to have the cylinder fall out. For revolvers, the cylinder is actually very heavy. I won't say very heavy, it's quite heavy, that it will drop out on its own. What he needed to have done is to pivot the revolver upwards so the casing can fall out. At this angle, the casing will never fall out. It will slide back out a little bit, and maybe from some vibration from the hand, 1 or 2 may fall out, but not all 5. This looks like a 5-shot cylinder. Can't really tell. But in the game it's a 6-shot, so okay, let's say it's a 6-shot cylinder. So this is practically cheating. But I like how there is a right tilt first before the left tilt. Anticipation of the motion, and then left tilt all the way. And then the rebound. And then reload. But I do think what would be cool is this shot reloads the normal. Oh yeah, this is a 6-shot for sure. Yeah, 4 on the side, 1 in the barrel, 1 at the bottom. The current reload animation is done for the cool factor, the dropping out, the rolling out of the cylinder. But what I think would be good is, how about this? He releases the cylinder, casings don't fall out yet. Then at about here, the casing starts to fall out, and then his clip of 6 goes in. Not clip, is it called a clip? I think it's called a clip. The speed loader of revolver goes in. So the dropping out and the reload happens in quick succession. I'm not sure how my idea will work. Can't tell, but I think it's worth exploring. Then you see McCree spinning around, and his left arm moves in an arc, right hand moves in an arc as well. And then there's a breaking of the joint. Can your arm do this? I doubt. So there's a snap at the end. Emphasis. The stagger of Bob here it is actually very well timed. So Ash hits him, bang. And there's actually a slight delay before Bob reacts, the stagger forward. So Ash, being a female, she's gonna be lighter. And Bob, I think he's gonna weigh a lot. He's heavy metal. Him staggering forward is the result of his reaction to Ash hitting him, not because Ash hit him. If I'm making sense here. Do you see the delay? It's like there's a tempo. Ash hits him, and then Bob moves, staggers forward. It's not an immediate reaction. So that leads me to conclude that Bob staggers forward, not as a result of Ash hitting him, but in reaction to Ash hitting him.
Looks like Bob got
This here is the casing fallout that I was talking about earlier. Only at this angle will casings fall out easily. But the problem is, at this angle, the cylinder will never fall out on its own. It will drop out on its own only when the revolver is pointing forward, not up. Yeah, if it's pointing up, you definitely need to flick. And depending on the condition, some revolvers, even when it's pointing forward, requires you to flick it, because the action is not smooth, things like that. And yeah, casings, they will not all drop out together. They will have some delay. Sometimes even at this angle, the casings get stuck, and then you have to dig them out with your fingernails. It's just ridiculous. Ooh, his revolver does not have the push pin. So revolvers actually have something in the front when the cylinder comes out. Like the cylinder is like this, and then there's actually a rod in front where you can push the button, and then it actually helps to push all the casings out. So that is something you can do as well. That tool, I believe all revolvers have it, but his doesn't seem to have it. That push thing sometimes don't work. That's why you need to dig the case out with your fingers.
Looks like Bob got himself some upgrades.
This is breaking logical movement. Upward movement usually take more time than downward movement, but over here is reversed. It gives a different feel to the pacing, a feel of confidence and accuracy as well. And I'm just in awe that even with such a snappy and short animation, you see the recoil of the motion. Like he overshoots his target and then comes back to the line up with the target that he wants, and then bang. Don't seem to even see it. A little. Just that little bit.
Last chance, McCree! Toss out your weapon!
All right, Ash. Here it comes.
Oh, shoot!
Not possible. You cannot shoot a grenade to explosion, no way. It's just like you cannot shoot a gas tank to explosion. It doesn't work.
What the... McCree?
Sorry about that, Bob. No hard feelings.
McCree? Hey! Untie me, McCree!
Say hi to the
I'm talking
gang
to
for
you.
me.
I will not be ignored! I'm gonna rebuild Bob, and I'm gonna
So this is fine and dandy.
Hey there, cowboy.
Hey there, cowboy.
Welcome back, partner.
They've got some history. Like Ash and McCree has, obviously.
How long have I been gone?
Far too long.
What happened?
Am I the only one that only at this point realizes that McCree's left arm is not biological? That is mechanical?
Well, that's a story for another time. But I got a call. We're getting the band back together. They want me. But really, they need you.
Seeing this reaction from Echo, the cyborg in blue,
They need you.
just seeing her eye movement, facial expression lift up here when McCree says, all they want is you, or what they need really is you, or something like that. I get the idea that she wasn't wanted before.
They need you.
That she somehow has been a reject before. This is the kind of feel that I get. Someone with better understanding of the law can educate me on this. I'm not 100% sure, but whether I'm right or wrong, this is the kind of vibe that I'm getting. It's just a little bit of light up in the eyes, or maybe she doesn't believe that she's of use. That's the second possibility.
Jesse, wait. What are you going to do?
I've got some business to attend to.
Picture of Ash and McCree. Is this Ash's bike? McCree took it from her? That explains the hostility? Maybe.
Say hi to the monkey for me.
Monkey?
Scientist. Whatever.
Cool and cool. Yep, so this is the end of the animation short. And following, I don't think this short is worth a relook with my comments. You can watch it on your own. I don't think I want to be showing it here. And after a 4-week break, I think somehow I'm just going quick. It used to be that when I play the animation short and then I just talk for like 3 or 4 points, it's half an hour gone already, and I will have to overrun. But this time, I'm actually ahead of time. It makes me feel weird that am I missing something? I'm not sure, but this is a time for questions if there are any. And if there aren't, early off for people, for the folks. Might as well just start turning my settings back on. I use night light, so right now you should see the screen a little bit more orangey. But it seems like there's nothing coming in. I'm still not too sure if that one concurrent viewer that I'm seeing now is a real viewer or is it myself. I think it's one viewer, but it sometimes it feels like it's myself. So nothing coming in, and yep, I'll see you guys in the next one. I do feel like I want to move away from Overwatch for just maybe 1 or 2 episodes. But then again, I feel again like I need to finish Overwatch first before going to Overwatch 2, before moving to other titles. So it's a choice for me. Maybe the next one might be not Overwatch, It depends. Depends on how I feel. I am the host after all. But if there's nothing coming in, and so I'm just gonna stop the stream, and I'll see you guys next time.